And, good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? We are live tonight with Lisa Gill from Savvy Pet.
Hello.
Welcome, Lisa. How are you?
Hiya. I'm really good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's all right. You're having a very busy week, aren't you?
We are having a very, very busy week, yes. It's all been a little bit crazy at this end, but no, all good.
It's all very exciting, and all the groomers that you're going to be helping and you help at the moment is going to have an extra busy week next week because all the phones are going to be going mental, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I hope so. That would be great. Yeah.
Lockdown rules coming to an end. I think we've certainly put off the announcement to our customers because we're not quite ready yet with reception and the phone calls and stuff, but we'll be able to.
It's good to be back though, isn't it? It's nice to have a date, actually, finally, a proper date. So it's all good, really.
Yeah, we'll open the phone lines on Tuesday and then let it all roll in. That's good. So you're the founder and owner of Savvy Pet, but Savvy Pet's only been going for the last few years. So how did you tell us about yourself? What did you do before then, and how did you get into business?
So my background is all business, actually. So I'm not a groomer. My background is I've spent 10 years or so working in the corporate world, and then I retrained when I had my kids as a photographer. So I then have been working. I have my own wedding photography business. So I've been very used to working in sort of small, medium-sized businesses and running small businesses, just in a slightly different field to you guys, really. But yeah, my experience throughout really is all business and sales and things like that. So that's me personally. Obviously, Savvy's software, and that's been sort of set up by my husband, really. So he's a software developer of like 25 years, and all of his background all of his career has been in software development. So it's all a bit new to me as well, really. So I kind of got thrown into the software world, which is slightly different, but it's just business, isn't it, really? So it's a lot of same sorts of things that I've done before, but just a completely different sort of a field for us to really, both the software and the grooming. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
So obviously this software, your husband developed this software, and I suppose you could have taken it into any industry, couldn't you, with the software? So what inspired you to come into the grooming industry and help pet groomers?
Well, I mean, the software, Ben spent like 5 years or so writing the software, and he's has such a long history of software development that he'd been going in and out of big corporate companies and sort of government agencies and all this kind of thing. And that was his whole career. And he found that every time he went to a different place, these software engineers just ended up rewriting the same thing again and again and again. There's only kind of so many different things that people need. So software developers tend to do very similar things over and over again, and it's not really very efficient. It's not, it doesn't really make a lot of sense that they keep having to rewrite the same stuff. So Ben had a theory that he should be able to write something that could be used for sort of multiple industries, really, but still be made to be able to be really specific and really meet the needs of that particular industry. And that was his hunch. So he spent like 5 years writing this kind of software platform, all in little chunks, with all that does this and it does this and it does this, and they're all little bits of it, really, that all sort of fit together like a jigsaw. And we kind of fell into the grooming world, really. So because we had friends that were groomers, and they said, well, we don't have anything that really meets our needs. And so we thought, well, the whole point of it is that we should be able to use this kind of software that he's written for any industry. Let's see whether we can do it. So he then wrote the software. He used the bits that he'd been writing for all those years, put them all together, and sort of Savvy Pet Spa was born, really, from that. So it was quite almost an accidental falling into it. But I kind of think that for us, that even though we're not groomers, actually for us, it's probably been a real benefit in a funny kind of way, because we've got the business experience and we've got the software experience. And so we've had to really rely on our groomers right from day one to make sure that the software was just perfect for groomers to use. So we have a Facebook group where all our groomers sit on the group. And they're brilliant. So they give us so much advice. They give us so many ideas. They'll say, well, we could really do the button that does this, or can we do that, or can we have something that sends this out? And their ideas are fantastic because they're born of actually needing things that do specific things. So we've had to listen and we've had to learn from them. And and that I think is why Savvy's so great, really, because we're able to develop the software, but we're able to do it really to meet the needs of the people that are using it, which has been super.
I have this like this vision in my head now where you and your husband are sitting around a dinner table, a few bottles of wine later, with this pet groomer going, you know what, we could really do with some help with a grooming system, and you're like, big light bulb moment, you know. And,
we can do that.
we can do that for you.
It's not a million miles away from the truth, because I'm a photographer. So when he had the idea that we should be able to do it for multiple industries, but obviously when he first started to try and sort of tease out the specifics, he was thinking photography, really. So he was thinking about that, and then we just did this massive turn to actually do something where we could see there was a need for it, really. But it was partly to test the theory that we could create this software that was really going to be almost niche, in the sense that it really meets the needs of the people that were going to use it, but equally that we could use bits of it and all these little chunks that we have to, you know, this, if a photographer needed a platform that had this and this and this, we could put it in and it would create that for them too. So it's quite an interesting, it's been a really interesting journey. But it's Pet Spa and the dog grooming world for us is our baby, really. So that's where we obviously went first, and that's where we launched first, and we've been doing Pet Spa for 2 years now. So, and we've learned so much from the guys that have been using it, that it's been brilliant. So it's exciting.
And the name, is there an amazing story as to where the name Savvy came from, and like how that?
No, not really. There was just a lot of umming and ahhing and toing and froing and asking everybody we knew everywhere about all the different names, and we had this list that was getting slightly shorter and then longer again and then shorter, and just we finally sort of set upon Savvy as being the name. So that's it's stuck, really.
It rolls out on the tongue, doesn't it? Savvy Pet Spa.
Yeah, well, I think the idea of, I mean, we're really business focused. I mean, that is my background, so we can't help but be very business focused, really. And we want our groomers, the whole mission statement behind the business is to be able to give our groomers the tools to be really, really super successful, and that's what we want to. So, and the whole idea of being business savvy, really, more than anything else, is kind of where it comes from, I suppose. So.
Business savvy, yeah, of course. And so, like when we set up our pet grooming business 16 years ago, you know, the internet was very, very poor. It wasn't like Facebook or anything like that. So we're A to Z animal care, and that was all through the Yellow Pages, you know, because we thought, well, we're going to advertise on the Yellow Pages, so obviously we want to be at the very top.
You need to be, absolutely.
Yeah, so really sensible. And little did we know how much, you know, everything would develop over the years. And are we in the Yellow Pages now?
No, you can't envision what's going to happen, can you? Everything changes so fast, really. You can never predict what's going to happen.
So you said Savvy came from a concept with your husband, worked on it over 5 years, and, you know, that must have been like a lot of weekends and evenings and stuff. And then you've got to product launch. But what has you saying the groomers have helped you make the system what it is today? So the feedback, you listen to the feedback and you're able to implement that easily, or does that cause a lot of work for you?
I mean, that is kind of like one of the real advantages of Savvy, because of this idea that he had of being able to make something that we could almost generic, that we could use for different things, is also has the benefit of us being able to change stuff really quickly and develop the software. So a lot of softwares can be just really, really difficult to do anything with. You kind of write it once and then it's there, and then actually making sort of further progressions is not always that easy, and software can become out of date really quite quickly, and you can end up with this massive sort of monolith of code that you just can't really do anything with. It's really difficult to do anything with. And so, but the nice thing about this, like the way he's written it with these little chunks that I was talking about, and these little blocks, they're almost like sorts of little building blocks that they put together. But because of that, it's actually really easy for us to change things. So if we want to change something in this block up here, we can. So, and we don't have to touch the rest of it. And because of that, we're able to be really flexible and really try and meet the needs of the groomers. If somebody says to us they really, really want this, and we can see that it's going to benefit everybody, then it's not difficult for us to make those changes. So the guys can just go into that section, and they can do everything they want to do with that without touching the rest of it, really. And because of that, we can act really fast and we can keep on moving really quick, which is why in our first 18 months that I went through and counted this actually not so long ago, and in the first 18 months that we were live with Savvy, we made over 90 changes to the system, 90 new features, all of which were groomer led. So we kind of came out with a platform at the very beginning that did the basics, and everything that's in Savvy now has come from the needs of the groomers that use it. But we're fortunate, and that really because of the way that it's been written, that we can do that. So it's good. It makes us very flexible and very easy to change and very easy to keep progressing. But that's nice for the groomers too, because they know that we'll listen to them. We really value their feedback. We have got a rather long to-do list, so we have probably about 150 things currently on the to-do list, and things keep getting added all the time. But we can change it. And actually, because we have the other platforms as well that we'll eventually develop, it's kind of really in our interest to listen to our customers and to listen to the groomers, because we know that if the pet groomers really want this particular feature, the likelihood is that if we roll it out to any other of the platforms, that all of those people will really want it too. So it's kind of economically, I suppose, from a business perspective, it's worth us listening and it's worth us doing it, because we know that it'll benefit these guys, but it'll also benefit everybody else too, really. So we're very up for
research in action, isn't it? Your market research being done for you day in, day out.
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant. It is really, really good, and they come up with some great ideas. Things like all the things that are in there, like things like send to all, which is just fantastic, so that we can send out these messages to absolutely everybody in one go. You know, all these sorts of great things. Copy and pasting appointments, it's brilliant as well. All these are little things that are just seem really simple, but are just great ideas, and they've made the platform what it is, really. So.
Again, I've got this this sort of thing in my head where you said about send to all. Someone sitting down watching Michael McIntyre one night.
Exactly that.
It's a really good idea. We could use that.
That's really good. Let's do that. We'll give them that. But I mean, and I think throughout COVID, because I mean that was great. Everybody loves that, and like we have online booking, and the online booking is fabulous as well. And I sat with a client one day, and they'd just set up all their online booking. So we were doing this like sort of over the computer, but I helped them set up all their online booking to get it just how they wanted it. So it sent out all the slots that were offered were exactly right for that client. The dogs would come in at the time they wanted, and all of this kind of thing. So I got it all set up perfect for them. And then they sent out a send to all message with the link to the online booking, and it went out to the clients and to the whole of their client base in like 10 seconds to write this one email. And I sat with her watching it, and there was like £8,000 worth of business that came back in the first half an hour while we were sat there watching just all these bookings coming in. So it was really, really good. So it's definitely worth it. But yeah, I mean, things like Send to All are fab, and we've developed that even further. So through COVID, when everybody was having to open and shut and open and shut, and it was changing all the time, we gave all our groomers the ability to be able to put a set time date in there, so that we could say, well, okay, for the whole of February we want to send out a message just to the people that are booked in that month, or just the people that are booked in that week, or however it was. So again, because of this flexibility with Savvy, we were able to bring out new features through COVID that would really support the groomers, so that they could do this and make their life just that little bit less stressful, obviously a really stressful period. So
it certainly, that was probably the biggest issue that we had. I think the first period we cancelled hundreds and hundreds of appointments, and then you go through and reschedule all those appointments. So all those phone calls that we're having to make, and then we had everyone set in, and then the further guidelines saying you're going to have to lock down again. And we were just getting, at the end of it, we were like, right, this is pissing us off now, having to reschedule. We were using a different system at the time. It must be really annoying for our customers. So the ability to reschedule and keep in touch with people, that was the hardest thing, to make sure people understood that we were closed or we were open, and when the appointments were. So yeah, that can be really...
we kind of just ditched everything that we got planned from March last year, when we came back from Crufts and realized what was going to happen, and nobody really knew what was going to happen, but we just knew that the needs of the groomers that were using the software were suddenly going to be different. They were going to change, and so we kind of just chucked out all the things that we were planning on doing for the next couple of months from a development perspective, and rewrote what the sort of the trajectory was really. And we started to bring in new features that were going to really help the groomers at that point. So even things like being able to go completely contact free. So people didn't want to have to stand there and go through the sort of the check-in with the dog and fill in check-in forms and all of this kind of thing that they might have done before. So we gave everybody the ability to send all this kind of stuff out, so that they could send out a form before the dog came, that the owners could go through and go tick, 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 I want this service, this service, this service. These are my emergency contact details, and it just got submitted back for the groomer. So, and things like that really were just so helpful, and being able to send out invoices, so that on a Sunday our groomers could send out an invoice to all of their clients, and they could all pay it on a Sunday before they came the following week for their appointment. Everything was paid. Nobody needed to handle cash. You didn't need to have a big conversation at the beginning of the groom with the person when we were trying to social distance, you know. So things like that were really good, I think, to be able to help everybody out. So
Yeah,
it did change everything.
You know, we started using Savvy in January, and you've just told me about these features that I've just taken for granted, thinking, oh, that's what Savvy does. I never really realized that was like a lockdown add-ons and lockdown developments that you've done. So they
all started sort of March, April time. They all came in as soon as we kind of twigged what was happening.
Yeah, they all work so well. I just kind of assumed that was just how it's always been. So it does show that how you develop the system as and when the need arises. There's a couple of comments and just some feedback. Katie is saying, I love the way this has changed over the last 2 years. Nearly everything I've asked them to do or add has been done, such as the flags. Laura's saying the online booking facility is brilliant. It's been very useful. Well, it's been very useful during COVID with the contactless features and contracts and check-ins, etc. So yeah, you're sort of responding to your customers' needs, aren't you? And getting things done for them.
But I think that's important, really, especially in the field that we're in, really. So innovation is important, I think, in any business, really. But for us in the software world, you know, it's kind of everything, really. We need to, our consumers, our users, their needs are changing, so we have to go with that and make sure that we're giving you everything you need to be able to do what you need to do, really. And that's kind of how we see our place, really.
Yeah, and I suppose when we're all using our phones and we're looking at different things from different companies, we're now thinking, oh, why could we do that? And why could we do that? And then they can feed that into you, can't they?
Mm-hmm.
So how does, kind of probably covered a little bit, but how does Savvy assist groomers in their sort of day-to-day work? How does it make their life easier?
Well, I mean, it does pretty much everything, really. If you could, I mean, that's a big statement, sweeping statement, but it can do almost anything that you really need. So depending on where you're at with technology, there are different plans within Savvy. So we have like the core plan, and the core plan, if you're not really into this stuff and you kind of just want to sort of almost digitize your diary, you can go for something relatively simple and go for core, and that has all of your pet information is stored, or your customer information is stored. You can make all your appointments, you have your calendar, and it will do things that are really, really useful for groomers, even if you just go for the core package. So it will do things like reminders that will go out automatically. You can have as many reminders as you want. You don't have to do anything at all for them. As soon as you make an appointment, a reminder is generated and it sits there and waits until you want it to go out. So if you want it to go a day before or a week before, the reminders will just go for you. So all of that's in core. There are great buttons that people all seem to love, the message buttons, which are in core as well, and they allow you to send out a message. Like, for example, when somebody makes an appointment, you click a button and it'll send out a confirmation email or SMS thanking them for booking, giving them all the details of where to go and everything else. And those buttons can do things like the complete one. You can press a button and it will send out a really nice thank you message. All these things are configurable, so you can have it, make it your own, really. But you can send out a nice message, say thanks so much for coming, it's lovely to see you, please leave us a review on Facebook or something. I think it's things that everybody kind of knows they should do when they're running a business, and you know that it's going to benefit you. You know that your customers are going to love that level of service. But I mean, in all honesty, who's got time in their day to stand there writing a thank you email to every client that comes through the door? I mean, it's just not realistic. But with Savvy you can, because you can just literally press a button and the email goes out, and you know you've covered yourself. You know they've had a nice message, they have a nice warm fuzzy feeling, and you hopefully get a nice review back, which then obviously benefits you and your business, really. So all of that's in core. Sorry, you're going to say something, can't you?
Yeah, I just want to pick up on that very comment, because Charlie just wrote a comment on there saying, do clients prefer this kind of system? I would worry the personal touch would go. And one of the reasons why we chose Savvy was because of what you were saying. You can personalize your messages and your emails. And I've looked at many systems over the years where it's very Americanized or it's very set in its way. And we have some older clients who would perhaps get offended by those kind of some of the messages that these systems send out. Whereas Savvy, you can personalize it all to how you kind of your brand and how you speak and how you would interact with your clients, can't you?
You can. I mean, all of the messaging that goes out, you have complete control over. So you can change it to be what you want. And you don't have to use everything. I mean, that's the other thing. Some systems automate everything, and actually you don't always want a message to go out to that client. You know that that client is really not going to want that thank you message and to be asked for a review or something like that. And so with Savvy, you don't have to press that button. You know, you've always got that level of control. I mean, it's great to save you time. It allows you to deliver great service, but it's not, it's configurable to kind of match how you like to work, I suppose, really. So it allows you to just do things really nicely without taking a lot of your time, really. So it is completely configurable.
Just another question come in. What would you say would be the best package for a starter one-on-one groomer?
That's a really good question. You can, with Savvy, we're really flexible, so you can start on any plan you want. So if you wanted to just start with the real basics, if you're kind of a little bit concerned about it and want to find your feet with it, we completely get that. And you can just start out with the core package. And a lot of people do that. They'll get used to it, they'll get going, they'll get everything set up in core. And then in a couple of months' time, they might say, actually, we'd quite like to have now like the contracts or the forms or the business reports that you get in the advanced package, which are brilliant for helping you run your business. And they'll upgrade. But then on the flip side, we get a lot of people that are brand new, just starting out in their businesses or relatively new to grooming, that actually go straight in for the extra package, which is our main sort of top package out of the three main ones. And the reason they do that is because the top package gives them things like a website. So whereas a lot of new businesses have that huge expense of having to pay for web designers or to get a website set up to be just what they want it to be. In Extra, you can have a website as part of your Savvy plan. So you get all of the benefits of everything that's in Savvy, but also you get a really gorgeous website that really looks lovely. You can make it look your own. They're really contemporary. They're really nice. And so it kind of does everything for you, and you can be set up really for the whole of your business. Actually, there's a lot to be said for that, because then, you know, as your business grows and you get more and more people that come to you, more and more clients, your Savvy kind of starts to work harder and harder for you, really, I suppose. And it builds and builds and builds, because you can do all sorts of things. You can do all your marketing from it and everything you want to, really. So but we're very flexible, so you can just sort of switch between them as well, as so you don't have to go straight in for that top package. But it is great if you want to have things like websites and stuff like that too.
Yes, you could be a one-stop shop for a startup groomer, couldn't you? With the website, the booking packages, and then the text messages and the emails and organisation.
Yeah, I mean, it does everything. So for somebody who wants to start off in the right way and get their business really set up with, you know, cover themselves legally with the contracts and you know, have a nice sort of workflow of how they want to work, you know, it can do it all for you. So it's, you know, it is a good way to grow your business. I always think that your software, it should be something that actually brings you in business and that really works for you, and that a good software does that. And that's kind of what we're always thinking about with Savvy, is how can we make our groomers more successful? What else can we give them that is really going to make a difference to how profitable they are, and all these kinds of things.
Yeah, we know that if you make your business more efficient, then you save time and you save money, and obviously time is money is also, isn't it? So.
Totally, yeah. I mean, and it does save so much time just from the messages, like I've said. I mean, there's so many people that move over perhaps from pen and paper, for example, and they've been manually texting all of their clients every evening to make sure that they don't forget to come. And even just that half an hour a day, that's a big, you know, if you start to calculate the amount of time you spend doing that, that is actually, and you charge your time, that's actually a lot of money's worth of time, really, that you're spending on just having to text people. And I think as well that, I mean, having software and things like this is an expense, but actually it should be paying for itself, really. It should, in the number of no-shows that it prevents, just preventing one no-show a month, just because you know that you don't have to worry about your reminders, you know they've all gone out. Even that just pays for the software straight off, really. And that's the starting block. I always think that it should be paying for itself anyway, because it should stop no-shows. And then if you think about the amount of time that it saves, and then things like that lady with the online booking and all those bookings coming in, then it starts to really sort of help you grow your business as well. And that's how it should work.
Yeah, I mean, just a no-show. So the text messages. So when we first started our business, we were getting no-shows, and then we got a mobile phone. So we started. We used to do the daily ring arounds. We used to phone customers up, and then we got a mobile phone, and we used to text customers, and then we got like an online messaging platform. So there's all that time, and as the systems have evolved and became more cost-effective, because obviously it was probably quite costly in the years and years ago to send texts and stuff like that. But now the systems are getting cheaper and cheaper. We've then evolved our text messaging systems and then integrated it all into one. I did a video about no-shows a few months ago. My wife worked out it cost us about £15,000 one year in people not showing up. You're losing that customer on the day, and then potentially you can't replace that appointment either.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at it and adding it up, it's amazing how much money you're wasting or losing.
I think the other thing that having the software helps with is that it should stop the no-shows anyway. But if you have, say, a last-minute cancellation, like 24 hours before they cancel their appointment, actually having things like the send to all features is really beneficial. I see a lot of our groomers that will send out, if they have a cancellation the day before or 2 days before, they'll send out an email to all their clients, and they'll say, I've had a last-minute cancellation for tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Would anybody like it? And so the chances of them being able to fill it are much quicker, because to send that message takes them all of 2 seconds, and then they can have filled that slot. So again, just stopping this sort of lost revenue and this waste of time that you get from people if they mess you around, I think is also, worth a lot of money too, really, for our groomers.
An email is free, isn't it?
So completely. It's free. And you can send as many as you like, and you can make them as long as you like as well. So emails are free.
No, that's right. It's brilliant. So do you want to take the opportunity to sort of show us around Savvy? There's been quite a few people in my group that have been asking about recommendations for online platforms, and been asking about Savvy and talking about Savvy. So it'd probably be a good opportunity to have a look around it.
Yeah, I can. Shall I share my screen?
Yes.
You fire any questions that people will have, and as I bring it up. Yeah. So let me just.
There's definitely features that we don't use yet, and that I want to get into, and I want to start looking at for our business, such as the online system. People have asked about websites as well. Tracy was saying she only does 4 dogs a day maximum. Is it worth getting Savvy?
Yeah. Shall I give you a little bit of a tour then? And we'll answer some of those questions, I think, as we go through. Yeah. So you can see my screen now, I assume, I hope.
Yeah.
And so this is our calendar screen. So this is at the moment is set to week view. So this is great for our single-handed groomers. So if you are only doing sort of 4 or 5 dogs a day, those groomers tend to really like the week view, because the week view just gives them a view of the whole week of what's going on all in one go, really. And I think that's really, really nice. You have got alternatives. So if you're a busy salon and you've got multiple groomers, then you can, for example, go to day view, so you can get a column for each of your groomers and things like that. So you can have it in different views. You can have month view as well. So you've got lots of different options, but I quite like the week view, and I know that our single-handed groomers tend to really like the week view as well. You can see all the different pretty colors on there. So this is very visual. It's very nice to be able to see what's going on, and all the different colors are like different types of grooms. So we've got it set, so depending on the groom that you're doing, like the blue ones might be full grooms, and the pink ones are bath and dry. So you can have it set out exactly how you want it, choose the colors that you'd like, and it makes it really obvious what you've got coming through the door, because you can see just by looking at the colors exactly what's happening. And when our groomers come to work, they would come in the morning and they would click on an appointment, and they get a slide out from the side of the screen, and the slide out gives you all the information that you could need for that appointment. So I'm on the appointment tab here, and it's giving me the information about the pet that's booked in. The flagging system, I think you said that Katie had mentioned the flagging system.
Yeah.
The flags are great. So this shows you anything that you want to know about the flag, about the pet, with the flag at the time of making the appointment. So you can see it in the appointment, but equally when you make the appointment, so when somebody phones up and you want to make an appointment for them, those flags pop up as soon as you start to type that dog's name. So if you've got a biter or a difficult dog or something that you really need to know right at the point of booking, those flags tell you those things right at that point, which is really great. Gives you all the information about that particular appointment. You can have whatever services that you offer, everything is configurable. So whatever you do, you can make your Savvy sort of work how you like to work. And you pop all the information in there. And that's all the information that you'd have for the actual sort of the actual appointment. These are those buttons that I was telling you about. So when you want to send out a message to say that you've confirmed the appointment, you can just click on the confirm button, click on change, and it'll send out an email to the clients telling them they're all booked in. Ready for collection is a nice one. That one sends a text message out to your client to say, sort of 15 minutes before the end of the appointment, to say Fluffy's nearly ready, come and get them. So all of these buttons you can have and use to send messages out to your clients, which is really nice, I think. But all the tabs across the top tell you something different. So if you go into the pet one, you'll be able to put photos of your pets in there. You can see the flags again here, and you can put all the information about the dog and all the medical information in there too. And then you've got the customer, so you can pop all the customer's details in there. If you need to send them a quick message to say you're running late, you can do that from in here and everything. So that's all the customer data's here. Savvy knows as well for all of your services how much you charge for them, so it allows you to very easily record all of your payments and what you're actually bringing in money wise, which then feeds into the report. So then you can see from a business report, you know, who your best customers are, what your most profitable services are, how much money you're due to bring in for the next 3 months, how much you brought in for the last 6, and it allows you to really get a good handle on your business. And then the history tab is a really useful one as well. So this one will give you a breakdown of every appointment that your client has had with you, basically, and the notes. So if I go back into the appointments field and I scroll down, you've got a section here, which somebody's been typing gobbledygook in my demo account, but you can just type your grooming notes in this section here, and then they will show up in the history. So you'll be able to see your history, everything you've ever done with that particular dog, which is really handy. So it's kind of the days are gone of having to go through loads of client cards and find out the information from a client card, because everything is just there at the touch of a button. You just click into the appointment, you click into history, and you can see everything you've ever done for that client. And equally, you can click into view the invoices too, to see what you've charged them previously, which is also useful. Were you going to ask a question?
Into like a system like this, going from a card-based system, obviously GDPR and stuff like that makes it a lot more safer, doesn't it? Because you haven't got your client's details on site, you know, in a diary or on card system. So, you know,
totally, yeah. So you get, I mean, it's all secure anyway. So everything in Savvy is backed up daily. So we have, you know, pretty much constant backups. It's all held in massive, great big data centers in multiple places. So everything is really very secure, and we always tell everybody that it's encrypted in transit and at rest, which is like the highest level of security. So basically everything is very, very secure in your Savvy. But yeah, you don't have to worry about you know, losing your diaries and the potential of having all the paperwork on site, or you know, even your contracts and your waivers and all that kind of thing. You don't everything goes into your Savvy, so you don't need to have any paperwork anywhere, and it's all secure inside of your system, basically. And we obviously can access it. So, you know, we have backups and things like that. So if we had one of our servers that went down for some reason, we have backup servers that we can switch you all over onto, so that you can still access your data and things like that. And actually, we also have support all the time as well. So there's always one of us that's there. So from like 8 AM to 8 PM every day, we man the customer support, and there's live help. So we click on help here, and you can start a chat with one of us. So there's Becky. Becky's on duty still at the moment. So if anybody has any questions that's using Savvy, they can send a message to Becky and she'll give you a hand, basically. So yeah, we're always there really whenever you need us to help you with anything at all. Can I just give me 2 seconds? My dog is trying to get out of my room. let her out. She's going to drive me nuts otherwise. Just give me a second. Right, out you go.
I'm seeing everyone's questions rolling in, and I will ask the questions as and when I can.
Okay, cool. Do you want to fire any at me, or shall I keep going?
Yeah, we've got, so Louise is trying Savvy for the second time, but she said she's finding setting it up so difficult as she's not technical at all. Is there a service that you provide to help set it up or put the
Yeah,
basics in place?
we will always help you set up. So with anything really, anything to do with software, if you're not used to it, it can, especially I always think with our free trials and things like that, having free trials for software is a great idea because you can go in and have a play. But actually, when you go into it, it's like completely empty. I mean, looking at my screen now, you can kind of see the potential and everything you can do with it. But when you first go into a trial of software, there's just like nothing there. And it's just like, oh, where do I start with this? So we do demos, and we run demos every day. So there's about 5 or 6 slots available every single day for our clients to book, and that's for new people, but also for our existing clients as well. So whenever you need a hand with anything, we'll help you, and we really regularly do set up demos where we'll go online, one of us will go with you, we'll work you through everything, we'll set it all up with you as we're doing it. If you've got any questions about it, or you don't know how to do something or can't work something out, it's a great way of just saying, actually, I just can't see how we do this. How do we do contracts? Where do we put the forms, and how do they work? How do I make an appointment? And all of this kind of stuff. And we're always really happy to do it. And it doesn't take long to set up, really. And obviously for us, it takes even less time because we're so used to doing it. So really happy to do that. So I can give you the link, Bill, after this, so that she can go through and go onto it and book a slot that suits her, and we'll give her a hand getting all set up.
Yeah, I think I've done 2 of those demo days. One when we were initially looking at the system, and another one of demo days, demo hour, isn't it? I think, and then one.
Yes, usually we set it for about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, one when I was actually looking at doing particular bits on it. So I definitely recommend that they use that service, because like
they're available for everybody too. So even our existing users, when we do bring out new features and new stuff, we have new stuff going on, then you're really welcome to book the slots for that too. We're more than happy to show you how to do the new stuff, and often we get people that will start to use Savvy and they'll use it for a few months, they'll get their head around everything that's there and they'll love it, but then they'll want to know how to make a website or how to set up the online booking. And it's just much easier to book a demo, sit with us, we'll tell you how to do everything, and then you kind of off on your way again, really. So it works really, really well. So I'd encourage everybody to use it.
Sandra has asked, I'm struggling to see this on my phone, that might be this video, but do you have to have a laptop in a hairy environment? That's something you have to consider, isn't it? Or can you use the system on laptops, phones, iPads, etc.?
You can use it on anything. So yeah, so I personally, I kind of like setting it up on a computer just because the screen is bigger. So when you very first set up, I probably would recommend, if you have access to a computer, to set it up there, because it just makes your life a little bit easier. But we have lots and lots of groomers that just use it on iPads or tablets or even just their phones. And what you're looking at now is our web version, and actually the web version is fully optimized for use on phones and tablets. So you can use exactly the same version that we have on a phone or a tablet here, which is great because it's all the functionality that you're used to from a computer, but you have it on the devices, and it works really nicely. But we also have native mobile apps as well, so you can download the app from the App Store or from Google Play to be able to use it on the actual proper mobile apps rather than the web version. So you've got a few choices, really. The ones from the App Store are much more stripped back and much more streamlined. They're designed to just really allow you, when you're in the salon, to be able to see really easily who you've got coming in and maybe make an appointment. So not to do a lot of the really complex stuff. They're designed to keep it simple. But because you can still do everything from the web version on your phones and your iPads, actually that suits. And people tend to just try them all, find what they like the best, and stick with that, really, I think.
Yeah. So the way that our business works is we all work as a team. So we don't actually allocate a pet to a groomer or a bather. We kind of work as a team. So we kind of put them in differently to how maybe other people do. But you can split this down into different groomers, can't you? And would it work if you've got self-employed sort of people there as well? Can you add, or they probably have to use their own system, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, the it can work any way you want it, really. And like you say, you can split it down, so you can set it. Let me just click into an appointment and show you. You can set it so that, for example, you can add on extra services. So if you have, say, a dog sort of flow through your salon, might be that they go, for some people it might be that they go to a bather first and then they go to a groomer. You can actually split it down if you want to, so you can really break it down, and then it will be in the groomers column for a bit, and it'll move over into the bathers column and move over to the groomers column. So you can literally break it down if you work that way, but you don't have to. So you can keep it really simple if you want to. You can completely work how you want to do it. The only thing I would say is, if you are working with other self-employed people, is things like the reports are not so good, because then you've got the, whose data is that really, so it gets a little bit complicated. We do have people that do that and they can make it work, and you kind of can do it, but that's the only sort of drawback. I mean, because you've got the different columns, you can separate it out nicely for the different groomers, but yeah, just be cautious about things like your business reporting, if that's important to you. I mean, it does break it down by groomer. So if I go into the reports, you can do sales by groomer, which will break it down into the different groomers. So it's not impossible, but actually it's probably better to keep your businesses separate, I think, if you're running them as separate businesses.
Louise, again, would sort of, could you go back to that, the multiple groomers screen, and just give us a rundown on how that would work if you're allocating dogs to separate groomers?
So when you allocate dogs to separate groomers, you click into their appointment, and you can have multiple groomers in the system. I'll show you where you add them, but you can choose the different groomers. So you choose here when you're making the appointment as to which column to put that appointment in, and then it will sit into the column for that groomer, basically. So we've got holidays showing on here at the moment. Somebody's switched them on, so let me just switch them off. So you can't see.
So could you use this as like a rota system as well for your?
You can, yeah. So multiple salons and big salons with lots of groomers, they can have a whole staff rota set up so that they can see exactly who's in what days and who works what afternoon. And if they have multiple salons, they can even have that. So we have a salon plan which allows them to have, like, to see one calendar screen of the one salon and another calendar screen of another salon, and they can flip between them, and the owner of the salon can see everything and things like that. So there's a lot of flexibility really within Savvy. But yeah, so from a column perspective, what happens is as you put them into the different columns, it sort of evens out, so all the columns are the right width basically. But we've only got things in 2 of the columns, so let me move on to groomer 2. And you see we've now moved it into that column, so that appointment has just moved across, and you can see that basically you make the appointments, you assign the groomer, and it sits into the groomers column. And you can pop the names of the groomers in there. So if I go up to our users and groomers, we've got 3 groomers listed, but you'd pop their names in there. So you can have their names across the top of the day view, and they can each have their email address. And if you've got multiple groomers from within your salon and you want to have different levels of security, you can do that too. So you can have it so your different groomers, some are allowed to see everything, somebody else might be allowed to see not see the reports if you didn't want your groomers to see the reports, if they were members of staff and things like that. So there is sort of flexibility as well, and allows you to lock it down a little bit too.
Cool. There's been some talk around the website and the Savvy's sort of capability of hosting a website. Do you want to show us?
Yeah, definitely. So our extra plan, so as I've said, we have core, we have advanced that has things like the reports and has all the contact list, the contracts and the forms and things like that. And then we have our extra plan, and the extra plan has a lot of web features. So you can have things like your own website in the extra plan. So I've clicked up here, which is our settings menu, and I've now gone into the web section, and these are the different things that you can have. So you can have websites, you can have a web shop, you can do your online booking and things like that. So let me show you some of these. So if I click into the website, it's very easy to do. So all our groomers can create their own websites, and they can go through and they can add the text in and the services that they do, and they can add their photographs of their team, and they can pop in all the photographs of their grooms and things like that. So they can go in and do it all themselves if they'd like to. Or we're really happy to help them set it up too. So this is all the sort of the configuration where you set it all up. and you can click onto preview, and you'll be able to see what the websites look like. So this is just a sample website. They're all the same format, but you can completely make them your own. So you would use your own color schemes, you can pop your logos there, all the pictures look great, you can change them to sort of match your theme, pop your logos in there again, or other pictures here which look really, really nice. They're all very sort of sleek and contemporary and just really nice websites. I think they look really lovely. You pop all your different sort of general grooms in there. You can pop the prices or starting from prices if you want to, or you can leave them out if you prefer not to have them there. Then you've got all your team members too, and all of the gallery pictures that I was just showing you that you can upload to. You can put as many pictures on there as you want to, and it links with your Savvy, so it knows your opening hours, it knows where you are, and it will also have a map feature which will show your clients where you are as well. And then sorry, say that again, Bill.
All your social media links at the bottom as well.
Yeah, all of that as well. So they're just really nice sites, I think. So, and it's all part and parcel of the extra plan. It's no extra cost, and we'll just help you make them as well if you need a hand to do it. As you know, I'm a photographer, so I'm a bit obsessive about the websites. I like them to look great. So I usually get everybody to send me their photos across so that I can just make sure they look really, really good and that they fit nicely and everything looks really good. But I always find that they're quite amazing, really. So because everybody's brand is different and all the colors are different, and just getting a feel for what their brand is and helping them to make the websites is really nice. And they just come out so different but just so nice. They all sort of match the people whose website it is, really, I suppose. But it links into the other. Sorry, carry on, Bill.
I'm a big sort of advocate for really good branding, and how really good branding can increase your prices on its own, because it makes you look more professional and a more professional outfit, and it can help sort of give the customer more confidence that you've spent the time and invested in your business and made your business look really good and professional. I really like it. It's
kind of your shop window, isn't it, really? Yeah. I always think for a lot of people it's a shop window. And even things like if you scroll down and in the bit where you've got members of the team, to put your team members or even photos of your grooming salon and things like that in there, I think is really lovely, because it gives people a real feel for who you are, really. And I think that's really quite important. And they are nice because they link into everything else with Savvy. So with Savvy is the other web stuff that you get in the extra plan are things like the customer portal, for example, where customers can literally log into their own little version of Savvy. They can see all of their future appointments, they can sign their contracts, they can see their invoices and pay those. And, you know, they've got their own little window of the stuff they're allowed to see from Savvy, but it's all branded as yours. So all your logos would be in the portal and it's all your color scheme, but so your customers would feel like they were dealing with you and not with us specifically, but it's all part of it, really, and it links really nicely with the website, and it all does it automatically, so it's just easy for you, really, as well. And then you've got things like the online booking as well. So the online booking with Savvy is great. It's a really, really powerful tool. And honestly, I've not found anybody yet that I've not been able to get the online booking to work exactly how they work. So it's not one of these things where you have to make your way you want to work fit with how our system works. It's been really well done, so that actually if you come to me and say, well, I want to take dogs in at 9 and at 9:05 and at 9:10 and I want 2 dogs at this time and 2 dogs at this one, and I want this time to be only allowed to big dogs and these ones to only allow little dogs, I can actually make it do whatever you want it to be. So you can either keep it really, really super simple, which I'm all for as well, or we can make it just be exactly how you want it to be. So it's a really clever system, and you can do things like.
I think you've just challenged us there, because we've never used an online booking system, and we're always scared that we're going to end up with like 5 Newfoundlands booked in on a Monday morning, and we walk in and go, we haven't got enough Hoover space for all this hair.
You don't have to worry. We can make that work for you.
Might have to take you up on that challenge to sort of
see whether you can completely confound me. I don't think you will. I think I've got this sussed now, so I reckon I can do pretty much anything with it. But you can keep it simple too. So you don't need to go for the really complex way. So some of our groomers will come along and they'll set it all up themselves, and they don't need any help from us at all, because they can just have it so it's based on your availability, for example. So because Savvy already knows when you work, when your shop's open, what your working hours are. how long your services take, and all of this stuff you kind of set up at the very beginning. Because it knows all of that, it will only offer slots to your clients that it knows you can fill. So you can do it based purely on availability, and it will work straight out the box. You don't have to do anything then, and that's really easy. But we know that it's not like that for a lot of groomers, and some groomers will want to have it, be able to be that specific, and will say, well, I want 2 dogs in at 9 and 2 dogs in at 1, or I do want it to be this breeding at this time, and things like that. So we know that it doesn't always work like that. So we have another way of doing it, which is called slot management, which is the one that's actually really, really super clever, which we can make it do pretty much anything you want it to do, really. But that allows you to have a lot more control over who's coming in when with what, really. So that's really, really good. The other thing that, I think we found when we first launched this, that online booking was really popular in like Australia and New Zealand with our groomers, and America, but our British groomers were much more worried about it, really worried about the idea of going for online booking. Could just see all the chows coming in, like you say, and when they thought they were going to get a Jack Russell that morning type thing. So they were much more hesitant over it, which I completely get as well. So we made it, when we wrote it, we made it so that it would require approval. So you can have it set so it just goes straight into your diary, but equally you can have it set so that your clients know that they're requesting the slot rather than actually booking the slot. And then you come into work. Let me open up Savvy again, and you can come into work, and instead of having a whole load of things you don't necessarily want to do, you can just go to your bookings list, and it gives you all of the clients that have requested an appointment since the night before or something, and you can see all of when they've requested it, what appointment they've requested, who it is. You've got all their contact details. You can open the form that you can make them fill in when they first try to book. So if you want to gather any information on booking, you can. And you can check your calendar, and then you can go through and confirm or reject all the slots. So you don't have to have it go straight into your diary. And when you confirm it, it sends out a nice message to the client that says, thanks so much for booking. We look forward to seeing you on this day at this time, blah, blah, blah. And if you click the reject button, then they'll get a message, which is equally nice, but perhaps suggest to them that they should give you a call at the salon to sort out an alternative date or something. So I always think that, this is just a great way of capturing all those leads of people that are sat there watching their telly on their phone thinking, I need to get my dog groomed, that will do it of an evening that you might lose otherwise. So even if you don't really want to accept anyone this way, it's still a brilliant way of getting all of those leads and knowing exactly when they quite like appointments. And even if you just end up giving them a call, it's just a great sort of lead generation tool. But it does work really well, and people do seem to really like it. So
I suppose, so for someone like us, we sometimes we see a customer from puppy through to, end of its days. I suppose it must be a case of going out there and educating your customers that this is a new way of booking their pets in rather than messaging us or phoning us. Because obviously it will save us time. We've spent an hour or so today going through our emails and booking customers in, and we have messages coming in from all directions. So I suppose it's a case of educating your customers to encouraging them to use this online booking system.
Yeah, but then these days I think people are much more used to it. So it's for a lot of customers, for a good chunk of your customer base, it will be more convenient because they're used to booking their hairdressers online or whatever they want to do. And I'm terrible for it. I don't really book anything unless I can do it online. I'm not very good at having to pick up the phone and phone somebody up to book. I just want to do it online. So that determines my choice of hairdressers and things like that. So yeah, but you're right. There's always going to be some it doesn't suit, and actually you can still do things online. You don't have to just do it one way. You can just stick to doing it manually and making the appointments manually. It's dead easy to do that as well, or mix it up and have some that use the online booking and some that don't really, and you can make it work whichever way you'd like to. But I know some of our clients will literally, in November time, send out a message to everybody saying, book your appointments for all of next year. And their clients just come in and book all their slots every 6-week intervals for the whole year in one go. And that's quite phenomenal, really, when they do.
And it enables you to predict your cash flow as well, isn't it? And your dependable.
And your reports come into their own then, because it will tell you exactly how much business you've got coming in every month. And you can see before you even start the year how it's looking and where your spaces are and when you're going to need to do a bit of advertising or marketing and things like that.
I have a question coming about the online booking system, and it's from a mobile groomer. are you able to, or this might be a suggestion for the future, can you set up your days by area? So
No, you can't very easily do that. We have had that request before, and I think it's one of those things that we really need to get our head around exactly how you do it, really. I mean, it's not, you could only do it if you set up your services so that the services were almost, instead of being by breed, were almost by area, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of not impossible, but it'd be a bit of a workaround at the moment, so for the online booking specifically. So I think that we probably need to get our head around the best way of doing that for you first. But we're always up for developing things to work better, and we're always up for listening to you guys, really. So it will be something that we will look at, because we've had discussions about it before. So it's just taking that online booking another step, really. We do have some nice features for our mobile groomers, though. So if I go back to the main menu, we have things like the map feature, which will show you where all, when you've got appointments in the diary, it will show you little pins where all your appointments are for a particular day, for example. So it allows a mobile groomer to be able to work out where they're going to be and where everybody is, and make sure that their appointments all fit in, which is really nice. And we also have Google Maps integration as well. So for our mobile groomers, it's especially useful because they can just, especially if they're using like on a phone, for example, it's easy when they're out and about. They can literally click a button on their phone for the client's address, and it will just take them straight to directions to get to their next appointment. So they go into the diary, click the client, and it'll take them to where they're going to next. So it is great for mobile groomers, but I think the online booking, we probably need to just take it that extra step to work for areas. But it's definitely something that's already on the radar. So watch this space a bit, really.
oh, are you just out of curiosity, are you able to show us the customer's side of things, of the portal, what the customer?
You're asking me now, but only because the only tricky bit with that is I don't know if I can ever remember my login for the portal. So because I've got to log in as a customer, so I don't know whether I'll be able to remember it. Let me have a go and see whether I can get into one. I'm going to need to enable the portal onto this account.
Can you work and talk? I've got questions.
It's just me remembering what the login is for, if I can. I might not be able to do it. I will be doing this on Sunday, though, so you will be able to do it on Sunday. So if I can't get it on now, then you will be able to look at it on Sunday. Let me go to the client.
We'll talk about Sunday in a bit.
Let me see where I can get in. We'll try it now. Now you're going to test me, see if I can remember.
This wasn't agreed, was it? Sorry.
It's all right, don't worry. It's only a password thing, because I can never remember. See. Bingo.
Hey.
So the portal, you would have your own colors and your own logo, exactly how you want it, and the customer can click in and they can see all of the appointments that they've got booked. They can see their profile, so they can answer. So this is great for new users, actually. So your portal, for example, if you're thinking about moving over to Savvy, you could send one email out to all of your customers, to all their email addresses, with an invite to go to the portal. They can fill in all of their customer details in the portal, and they can effectively create their own profile in Savvy. So if you're worried about moving over to software because of having to move all of those paperwork over, really, all you need is a list of the email addresses if you've got them, and it's just dead easy to do. And I think actually you can do it by SMS as well, so it's not impossible to do it by SMS. So it's very easy to be able to get all their details on there, and they can add in all their profile details, add in all their pet information. They can see all their invoices, they can view their invoices and pay their invoices through the system as well. So it's just a really nice thing for your customers to be able to sort of manage their own appointments in a funny kind of way, really, and they can see all their contracts and whether they've been signed as well. So
that's all branded as well, isn't it? You put your brand.
Yeah. I mean, we've just got generic stuff in there, but yeah, you pop in your own logos and your own color schemes to match your own website, and you can access, your customers can access the portal from your website if you use the Savvy websites too. So on the website they can click a button, and then it will take them straight to the login for the customer portal too.
Oh, we've got some. Thanks for showing me that, and I'll probably book a day in or a session in about that another time. Got some questions coming in around integration and payment systems. So can you set up payments and deposits on the system? And does it integrate with other payment systems like SumUp and accounting systems like QuickBooks and stuff like that?
Yeah, it does. So So yeah, so you can take payments in Savvy, you can take deposits, or you can take full payments. So you've got a few options. You can send out emails to your clients, for example, when they first book, and you can ask them for a deposit payment. So if you take the booking manually, you can send out your thank you for booking, and on that can be a request for a deposit which you set. So you can say whether it's a percentage or a particular amount that you want to take, or you can ask for the full payment at that point as well. So you can do all of that just by setting it up in your in those buttons, you know, those email buttons. You can set it up in there if you want to. You can also put that if people book online, so people can obviously pay online through the online booking, or you can request deposits through that as well when they confirm. You can do that through any of the email messaging type systems really that's within Savvy. You can also send out invoices. So whenever you create an appointment in Savvy, it will generate an invoice behind the scenes, and you can just click a button to say send invoice. So the invoice can go out, which can be for full payment, for example, up front. This is why I was saying people were doing that a lot during COVID, because they could get all the payments on a Sunday before the clients came in the week. All the payment systems that we integrate with directly are Stripe, Square, and PayPal at the moment. So for all those ones, you can just get them to pay completely through the system, so you don't need to handle any money. You can also put your bank details on any of the invoices as well. So if you prefer them to pay by bank transfer, you can have that on your invoices and on your requests as well, so that they pay that way instead. With regards to sort of external card machines, with your payments, you do have the ability to add your payments and record your payments through things like SumUp and things like that. So if I go to the payment system, you can add payments into the system, and you can say how you want to put it in. So you can manually record what you're taking on an external machine, but at the moment it doesn't link up directly with that. We will be linking directly with some point of sale solutions. We haven't completely finalized exactly what we're doing with those, but that is kind of the next big thing that will come in the next few months really. That's the main thing that we're going to be looking at next, I suspect. So we've already started to chat to all these companies really to work out, because what we really want is to get the best deal for our groomers that use their systems, I suppose. So we're having a bit of negotiation with all those companies at the moment to see who can give our groomers the best deals really.
When you say we're trying to link Savvy, so I'm guessing you have like a Savvy system, like an iPad or your laptop. You check the client out and you press the payment system, and then that transfers that money to the payment, the card machine sort of thing, to the SumUp machine.
So no, it's not at the moment. It's just recording it in all your reports. So all your business reports from SumUp and iZettle and things like that, your business reports would show where you took the payment, but it would be going via your payment machine as it would do at the moment, I suppose. But obviously the Stripe and the Square and the PayPal, it completely integrates. So that is just a total integration through the online payments. And you asked about the accounting software as well. So yeah, in our extra plan, you can integrate with QuickBooks and Xero. So QuickBooks, for example, if you sync up your Savvy with your QuickBooks, all these payments that we're putting in here would show, and all these invoices that are created whenever you create an appointment and you take a payment, all go through into your QuickBooks, and you can see all of their payments. They've all got like invoice numbers, and you can see if they've paid or not in your QuickBooks, and it just does all that for you automatically once you've synced it up.
Yeah. Someone asked a question, if you do go through and have an integration with SumUp, would you be charging extra to bill through Savvy, or is it just the SumUp charge that they'd be paying?
It would just be the SumUp charge if we go with SumUp, but I think at the moment we're just a little bit up in the air with it, because we're not in a position yet where we know which one is going to be the best one to go with really, and we'll probably do one at a time, I suppose. So it's I can't say. I know that we won't charge extra on top of it, but I can't say which one we'll go with, because I just don't really know at the moment. It's just it's all down to, you know, how good a deal they'll do for our groomers, because they all offer different rates for you guys. So the nice thing that will be if somebody isn't using any payment provider at all, they will be able to get a package with Savvy with a payment card machine, you know, and it'll work like that. So the whole thing will come as one plan together, and then it'll be beneficial to anybody that's already using, but anyone new will be able to do it all together really. But we need to get the rates good really. So it's all a bit of a big lot of negotiations with these companies at the moment.
Definitely, and again, I'll declare I'm a big fan of having online card payments or some kind of card machine within your business, because again, I think it just opens up your business for upselling. And you know, you were saying about if you can't book an appointment online for your hairdressers, you won't go to that particular place. If I can't pay with a card, I don't go to that particular shop, if you see what I mean. So I think it's really important to have these payment methods in place for your customers.
Yeah, and you can, I mean, lots of our groomers, obviously most of our groomers would probably take card payments at the moment, and but they still use their Savvy to record it through the system anyway, just so that it's all matching in their reports, and that, you know, everything, it looks good and works right, really, I suppose.
So I'm getting conscious of the time. Are you okay to quickly?
I'm okay, yeah. If people have still got questions, I'm more than happy to keep chatting. Yeah.
I was going to move on and say, you know, what's next for Savvy, because you're always developing it, and we've got a big day coming up on Sunday, haven't we, which we can talk about. And you wanted to tell us, and I want to know what's next in the pipeline for Savvy. What's these big announcements that we keep hearing about?
So this week is a really big week for us, so we're very excited. We have obviously organised a really big day on Sunday, and that's very much to celebrate everything that's going on with Savvy this week. We wanted to give something back to all our groomers that was going to be really great, and obsessed a bit really with making sure our groomers are as successful as they can be, and that are do really well in business. We wanted to make it a business day, so hence why all of the different speakers that are coming in are talking about different aspects of business. And obviously you're going to be chatting, aren't you, Bill? So it's going to be a really constructive day, I think, for all our groomers that are watching. But obviously we also will be releasing some new features, so for us that's really exciting. So throughout the day we'll be demoing the new features, but I can give you a bit of a sneak peek now and tell you what's going to happen. I'll show you on Sunday properly, but I can tell you what we're launching. So we've got 4 big things that we're launching this weekend on Sunday. Probably one of the biggest things that we're most excited about, I think, is our customer mobile app. So this is really big news. So for all our groomers that use Savvy, you guys are going to be able to offer your customers the opportunity to download from the App Store or Google Play a mobile app just for them. So they'll have their own Savvy mobile apps. And it's brilliant. It's really good. I'm really pleased with it. It's a little bit like the portal in the sort of information that they can access, but it looks just fab. It's so good, so customer friendly, easy to use. They can see their next appointment. They can see all of their future appointments. They can click through and see what their past appointments. They can press a button and their next appointment will go into their calendar on their phone, and they can set up reminders. So it all does it automatically. They can pay their invoices, they can sign their contracts, they can literally just do everything they might ever need to do. We'll also eventually bring in the ability to rebook their appointments through their mobile app, and even to have a chat like widget where they can chat with their groomer, a bit like WhatsApp type thing if you want them to as well. So it's just great. It's a really lovely thing for our groomers to be able to offer their clients. And I think it's all about your clients being able to have a really great experience with your business, and just to make life so easy for them that they never ever, no matter what happens, they ever consider going anywhere else, because it's just so easy and so nice to be able to sort of work with your business, really. So we want to give you again the tools to make your clients really happy. So, and we love it. It's great. It's really good. So I can't wait to show everybody that on Sunday. We're also doing another app. Well, it's going to be web-based and an app, but this is for sort of the wider community out there, all the dog owners out there, to be able to find their groomer. So it's like a directory, and it's a directory of all Savvy groomers. So if you have a Savvy system, then you can automatically, for free, go into the directory. And we've put lots of effort into making sure that it's going to be, really well optimized for SEO and all that kind of thing, and that we should do well on the Google rankings. So we'll put a lot of effort into that. But we again want to make it so that it's just another tool for all our groomers to be able to improve their businesses, be able to get more clients. It looks great. It's really lovely. It's a really nice sort of window to your businesses, but it still links through to all the other stuff as well. So anybody that's looking for a dog groomer in your area, they can click on your salon. They can go through to your website. They can go through to your online booking, and everything is seamless and works together. So they'll just be able to go right from there looking for a groomer to literally booking you in sort of seconds, really. And it's really nice. So that's the other big thing that's really exciting as well. So again, I look forward to showing everybody that. Then we have something for all our existing users. Everybody in Savvy loves a new button. And we obviously, this is just another thing of us responding to feedback. So we wanted to make it so it was just so simple to do everything that everybody wants to do within Savvy. So we created we've got a new button that's going to appear at the weekend, which will allow our customers to be able to create an appointment. If you're new to Savvy, it will make making an appointment just so easy. It'll be really obvious how to do everything. But for all our sort of experienced users that want to be able to send out forms or contracts or ask for deposits and things like that all up front, they'll be able to do it all as part of the flow of making the appointment. So it'd be really quick to do all those things in one place. Whereas at the moment, you might click in to go and get the contracts or click somewhere else to send a form. You won't have to do that. It'll all be part of the just creating the appointment. You'll just go click, 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 and it'll all be gone out, and you'll be able to see the message that goes out to your client, and it'll just be, you know, exactly how you want it to be. So that's really, really good as well. So I think everybody that currently uses Savvy will probably really, really like that when that comes out on Sunday. And then the last thing we've got is actually not necessarily for every groomer, but I think it's really important. It's a new plan, a completely new plan for training schools. So for all of the training schools and the educators out there and the people that are thinking about becoming training schools and stuff like that, we have a new plan because there's never been anything out there which allows training schools to really manage both their customers and their pets, but also their students, and look after their students and their courses and see which students are on what courses and which students on this court need that dog, and marry it all together into one system. And that's just never been done before. It's just too complicated. And we found it's quite complicated how all these groom schools work this out. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but it's been really, really, really interesting and really good to do. So that's another thing that comes out Sunday too. So really 4 really quite big things for us really that have been launched on Sunday, hence the telling everybody about it, and hence all the big day on Sunday, which we're really looking forward to. And I can't wait to show everybody on Sunday. That'll be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be really good. So if people haven't heard about what's going on Sunday, can you tell them a little bit about?
I can. So it should be a really good day. So we've got lots of speakers, but all talking about different aspects of business, really. So we've got people that are chatting. We've got Kat and Amy from the Pet Business Revolution that are chatting and doing a sort of a workshop early on, the first thing in the morning. So that starts at 9 o'clock, and they're sort of setting us all off with their business workshop. So those guys are really, really good. So that should be really interesting to give you lots of sort of ideas and things like that into make your businesses more profitable and all that kind of thing. We've got Katie, who chatted earlier on your chat was messaging you, and she's going to be talking about pricing and how to set your prices and stuff, and so that'll be really, really handy for everybody. We've got the guys from Cleany Teeth that are going to be talking about using things like Cleany Teeth and other things to be able to do upsells with spa packages and to increase your profits that way. We've got the guys from Alpha Blades that are going to be the sharpeners that are going to be talking all about investing in equipment and that kind of thing too. So that's quite useful. We've got you're going to be talking as well, which we can't wait. We're really looking forward to that. We've got somebody that's going to chat. We've got Kerry. She's going to be chatting all about content creation, which I think is really important these days, isn't it? Really, I mean, I find it difficult trying to work out exactly what to put when and all this kind of thing. So I think I'm looking forward to her session as well. We've also got like a Q&A session with some of our experienced groomers, so that's going to be really interesting. So Ryan's chairing that, and he's going to be really trying to get to the bottom of what they think about Savvy. So I'm kind of keeping everything crossed that goes well, but yeah, he's going to be really sort of getting to the nitty-gritty about Savvy with those guys that have been using it for a long time too. So hopefully you'll get a really good feel actually from those about what they do like about it and how it works for them. And then we've got Maria, who's doing the vlogger. So she's doing all about the about Savvy. So she will have already has a look at the new systems that are coming out for Savvy, and she'll be doing a proper review. So again, that's another one I've got my fingers crossed for that goes well, because she's going to be doing like an independent review on her vlog. So hopefully she'll love the stuff as much as we do as well. So it should be a really good day. So I'm really excited. Oh, and I'm going to do a little bit, but not lots really. I'll do little bits through the day just to show you the new features, but mostly it's about you guys really.
And I was saying, yeah, I'm speaking on the Savvy Sunday, and then I suddenly saw a post saying it's international.
Oh yeah, and we've got lots of groomers coming as well. So there's I think the last count was about 900 groomers that we're watching, and from all over the world, but no pressure.
No pressure. I'll get something sorted out. What we'll do at the end of this, we'll put the Eventbrite link in the.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Got their ticket, and can people come into can they get a ticket, and is it for the whole day? Can they just come in and out as and when they've got time?
Yeah, they can come in. They'll be able to watch it from inside the Savvy Pet Spa feedback group. So so yeah, if they register with the Eventbrite, then they'll be let into the Savvy Pet Spa feedback group if they're not in it already, and they'll be able to watch it through the feedback group basically. It will be up there later, so if you do miss one, you will be able to catch it back. We'd really encourage people to watch it live though. I think that it's going to be really nice to get the interaction. You know, it's really nice to have the questions thrown at you and be able to really sort of add some value for people when they're asking. You can actually answer the questions that they really have. So we encourage everybody to come and watch it if they can live. That'd be really good. But you will, if you've already registered, you will be able to watch it back later as well.
Okay, I didn't realise they could ask me questions.
Well, Ryan is looking after you guys throughout the whole thing, so he's kind of comparing you. So I suspect the other thing might be thrown your way. So.
Brilliant. There's just a few more questions come in, and I'll let you go and enjoy your evening, and probably still making more prep and plans for Sunday. You've got a busy weekend ahead, haven't you? Joanne's asked, going back to the Savvy system, can you mass import customers from another data source, database, spreadsheet? I've got experience with that.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, you can do that. It's absolutely fine. So if you're moving from another software system, usually from software systems, you could just ask them to get a download of your customer and your pet details. So mostly they do that. Some you can message us directly and we can give you some advice on that, because some of the systems will just literally dump everything you've ever put in there, which actually is not that useful. What you really want is the customer and the pet info. So if you can get that download, then we can suck it all up and put it into Savvy, and that's great because that will create all your customers and your pets, and it will all just go straight into the system for you in a few minutes really. If you're moving from paper, you've got a few options. So we can give you a spreadsheet, which is great. So it saves you having to go into Savvy and create all your customers and create all your pets individually. It's much quicker. You can just fill in a spreadsheet with all their core details, and then we'll suck that up into the system and create all the pets and the customers and link it all together for you. So that's probably a nice way of doing it. A lot of people like to do that because actually it allows them to get rid of any clients that they don't really want to put on the new system and really sort of, you know, go through it and make sure it's all up to date. So that works really well. Some people just don't really want to do anything, and that's fine too. So if you've got an email list, like I said before, if you've got a list of all your customers' emails, you can literally invite them all to the portal. If you go for the extra plan, they can literally log in and fill in their own details, which I'm all for as well. And actually with this customer mobile app that we launched on Sunday, likewise, you'll be able to let them all access it via the mobile app and fill in their details through there too. So that's a good way, but you kind of really need their email addresses for that. It makes it much easier if you've got their email addresses, and you can do that. And another client that came over to us a few weeks ago, she didn't really want to do anything, so she set up her online booking, and she had it so that customers booked online right from the outset, and when they confirmed their appointment, they got an invite to the portal to be able to fill in all their details. So she captured some of their details via the online booking form anyway, and everything else they were invited to fill in all their own stuff. So she didn't have to do anything at all to move across. So, but the different options suit different people really. So do message me if you've got any questions about this, or go to the Savvy Pet Spa website. You can click on a little smiley face that comes up and start a chat there, or if you're in Savvy, you can click on the help and start a chat from there, and that comes through to us, like I say, and you can then, if you chat through to us, we'll talk through the different options with you and give you a hand. So don't anybody be put off about either moving over from pen and paper or from other softwares, because we'll help you get everything set up. You really don't need to worry about it. We'll really do everything we can to give you a hand.
Yeah, I'll put my hand up. You know, we identified probably for about a year that we needed to move systems to save us money. We halved the amount of money that we pay by coming over to Savvy, but we had about 1,400 customers that we had to move from one database to the other. And then I was in a meeting with some colleagues and some friends as well, and they sort of said, well, why didn't you use just get like a VA to do it? And I was like, it was like a light bulb moment. It was just like, yeah. And what probably would have taken me a few weeks or maybe a month to do to move all those customers over, and she did in like a day. It was amazing.
Yeah. You don't have to worry, it's just done. You know, that's a great idea really to do that. It's probably just the time that you've saved, it's probably worth a fortune really doing that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're watching still and you've got loads of customers to move over, I can recommend someone that's a wizard on spreadsheets.
And is also quite used to it now, I should think, having done
Yeah,
yours as well.
yeah. Yeah, just go to the login for our old system, log in for the new one, and the 2 CSV sheets, and it was done within a day.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Lindsay has said, can links for forms and contracts be sent out via SMS rather than just email? As I know, older customers just don't want to check their emails.
I'm just thinking now. Yeah, I think they can do actually. So yeah, the forms are that you can get a link really, which you can just copy and paste into any message. So yes, you can do that. And actually, with the new wizard, the new create appointment, quick create button will appear over the course of the weekend. You can do all that from when you first make the appointment too. So yeah, you'll be able to do that too.
Cool. I'm just looking through. Sandra's asked, are there any special offers out at the moment for Savvy?
There will be some special offers. That's a very good question, Sandra. So on Sunday, there will be 25% off your first payment. So whatever plan you decide you'd like to go for, you can have 25%. And I think actually just between you and I, it's actually live already. So if you want to get ahead of the game and get our help before we get into knee deep into everything on Sunday, we can actually help you get that sorted already. So the 25% off is a great deal because you can either do it off your first payment for a monthly plan, but actually also applies to annual plans. So with Savvy, if you decide to pay annually, you get a month free anyway. And then you would get an additional 25% off. So things like going for extra with the websites, that's usually like £440 for the year. That is like £110 savings. So it's, well worth it. It's big savings on the annual plans for this weekend, basically. So yes,
yeah,
good time. Good question to ask right now, definitely. You will need a code, and I think that the code will be Stella 25, I think it is, but feel free to come through help and we can give you the discount codes, because when you go into your Savvy, if you create a trial with Savvy, you go to subscriptions, which is in the settings menu, those 9 little squares I kept clicking before. You go down to subscriptions, you can click on the trial plan and it brings up all the options for you. If you toggle across at the top, it takes you to the annual plans, and you can choose your plan and put your card details in, but at that point it'll ask you for a discount code, which is where you would put your Stella 25. But any problems, any questions, just come through to us and we'll give you a hand.
I was thinking, I think what's been so nice about this, is that we're talking to you, the owner of Savvy platform, and you don't hide these things. You don't hide behind your prices. You don't hide behind your software. You're out there. You're live on the chat functions, aren't you? You're answering questions. You're dealing with. I've seen you jump into my Facebook group and answer questions there and answer queries and feedback, and that's what's so important, I think, about your brand, is that you're available. And it's amazing that we're talking to you, the owner, whereas other things, other platforms, you just might never see this kind of
no. Do you know, I think it's really important. I mean, I suppose that's because I've been in business for so long, really. I think it's really, really crucial. I mean, I know it's software and it's a little bit faceless often, but it shouldn't be really. And I hate the idea of somebody sitting at home or at work trying to do something on Savvy and not being able to do it, or not remembering how to do it, or not being able to get it to work. I just hate the thought of that. I want you all to know that you can get us. You can either get us through the help chat, you can get us through our Facebook group, or you can get help from all of the other groomers via the Facebook group too. But there's always somebody that should be there to be able to give you a hand, because I think it's so frustrating. I'm terrible. If I can't do something on software, it drives me crazy. And it's really important to us that our clients know that we are there and we will give you a hand. And honestly, just don't worry, let us help you. It's fine. So
yeah, brilliant. Well, I'm going to let you have your Friday night in a bit of peace now. You haven't got any more talk after this, have you?
No, I think I'm done with talking. I think I need to go and take some throat sweets now. I've had a very chatty day today. So I need to recover before Sunday. So I won't be able to say anything on Sunday. I'll be miming you through all the different apps and stuff. Trust me, it's great, and I just won't say anything else. But
you've done a podcast with Colin today. I've seen that. That's up and out already. Does that cover things? Does that cover anything else that is in here?
Yeah, it covers through. Well, it covers. It's great. It was a great chat actually, but it gives a lot of of Colin's perspective really on why he felt that software is really important. So Colin was really into things like the websites and stuff like that. He thinks that's really, really crucial. So it's really interesting to get his perspective too. I mean, I did touch a little bit on the new stuff that's coming out too, but it was a slightly different chat really, just because it was really good to get his insight into what he felt was really, really important too. So it's worth a listen, definitely, as well.
So put your
If you're not sick of the sound of my voice by now, it's worth a listen.
I was going to say, put your earpods in when you're grooming on Monday and listen to Colin's podcast. This is going to go. This will stay in the grooming, the Facebook group, and it'll also go onto YouTube, so people can rewatch this. And obviously, I'll put all the social links and the website details and everything in that, and the ticket link as well for Eventbrite. So
yes, I'll make sure you've got all of those things, and actually the links for the demos as well, so that people want to have any questions. That's also useful, I think, for everyone.
So once again, thanks so much for your time. It's been really nice talking to you. I certainly know that we're not using all of Savvy's features, so that's going to be something for me to go back and start learning. And I'll probably be booking one of those demo hours in to make sure we get our online portal up and running, and maybe look at a bit of online booking. Scary. But
yeah, no, it's great. The online booking's great. You should definitely get into it. You'll love it once you get it all set up. It's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks a lot for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Lovely to speak to you, Bill. Thank you. Have